Hello, hi, good evening. Hi, it's Christine Crowell again. I am back because today is something that I really want to talk about it's been heavy on my heart really um, for a couple of days really. I've been really thinking about this, and I wanted to first of all explain about what is DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion, for example. And I'm going into this more deeper because we all know the situation with regards to President Trump, that he signed these orders for the social, for the DEI. He's been signing a lot of things. He's been quite busy with his notebook. Well, not notebook, but these orders, and it's been signing away. It's like he's on hyper mode. So it's like he's signing these things without. I don't even think he's read half of them, because sometimes he's coming back with saying, no, I didn't mean that, but yet you knew about what they was because you was in presidency before. And I'm trying not to be, I don't want to be political here, but I wanted to explain this because I wanted to explain the difference here. For example, for those of you that don't know what these signings are, and I think it's important that we look at what it means, because there's a lot of talk about what is DEI, for example. And have you ever wondered what DEI really means? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. These three words mean a lot, and you're hearing it a lot, but they also actually are real life and how they impact the community, businesses, and even you as well. So I'm going to just break down a few things in a simple way and see why that it's not just a trend, it's a powerful tool as well for social progress. So stay with me on this, okay? So let's start with the basics, what it stands for. DEI, what does it stand for? And the D stands for diversity, and this is the difference. It means that having a mix of people from different backgrounds, race, gender, age, abilities, culture, and perspectives as well. Okay? A diverse team is stronger because it brings fresh ideas and different ways of thinking. Gets our brains thinking in different ways. Equity. Now, this is different from equality, for example. Equity means making sure that everyone has access to the same opportunities by addressing systematic barriers. So think of it like, for example, three people have different heights and they need to look over a fence, for example, and the equity provides each of them with a box that suits their height, so that they all have the same view. Inclusion is diversity, is inviting people to the table, that is including them in making sure that their choices are heard. So a company or a community can be diverse but not inclusive, for example. Inclusion ensures that people feel valued and respected as well. So I've got something in my eye here, excuse me. So that they feel empowered and that they can contribute. So why does DEI matter? So now, why should you care? And some of you don't care. Some of you may be business leaders, business owners, or just someone working in an organization. And you may think, oh yeah, the DEI it's nice to have. It's a must have, and here's why, for example. For businesses, right, the comparisons are that diverse teams perform 35% better financially. And why? That's because of different perspective leads to more innovation and better decision making. For workplace, employees in inclusive workplaces feel 70%, for example, more engaged and productive. When people feel valued, they work harder and stay longer. And this is from research. For society, DEI helps bridge the gap. It reduces bias and it creates opportunity for everyone, especially marginalized groups who have historically been left out. So I'm going to break down some common myths here. You see, it's not just about race and gender. It's also about disability, for example. It's also about age. And there's also the representation. There's LGBTQ, for example, neurodiversity, and many more, for example. Let's focus on diversity. If we focus on diversity, we are really looking at actually DEI expands the talent pool, meaning that companies attract more qualified candidates, not less. So the DEI is just a corporate buzzword. But studies show that DEI improves company profits, employee satisfaction, and customer trust. It is about real impact, not just words as well. So I wanted to bring this up because it's just in the press so much lately since the latest president, Trump, came into power, for example. And maybe some of you are not aware of what it is and what it means, for example. So it's important that we, or you, educate yourselves on different perspectives through books, podcasts, and real conversations with people. You want to challenge the stereotypes in hiring, promotions, and everyday decisions. Look, we all know that Donald Trump signed this order to wipe out DEI programs, and also the federal employees that he has, that they're facing, some of them are facing dismissal. So it's important to create a inclusive space, whether you're in business or in a social setting, making sure that voices from diverse backgrounds are heard. So encourage your workplace or community to implement fair policies and representation. Because if we don't look at this, and it's as if there's a going back happening here, and I don't understand why, because I thought we was moving forward with things. And to me it's a bit concerning that we're having to hear that people are facing dismissal due to, and also there's the loss of jobs, there's the loss of money that used to come into these programs for DEI, for example. But I also wanted to explain what it meant for those of you that don't know what it means. And I think there's a lot of talk with the President Trump that is bringing this into place, and that's in America. In the UK, I know that President Trump is going to be visiting Keir Starmer in the UK, I believe, very soon. They'll be meeting, for example, which is great, wonderful, leaders should meet, for example. And I know there was a bit of friction beforehand, but I believe that it's now been resolved. I don't know, I'm just going from what I see. But I'm seeing a lot of things being signed that other presidents have agreed upon, and you would think that would still stand, but it's not. Things are just being written, and things are just being signed by President Trump, and people are cheering, but what is the full impact from this? We don't know. And I just wanted to jump on here to just say that DEI has been around for quite some time now, and it's given people jobs, it's given people funding, for example, it's helped with program education, awareness, it's there to prevent bias, and there's a lot of things that's being undone by this signing away. So President Trump signed about 10 orders already, and he's in his second week in office, and he's done all of this. Even the first day he was there, he was signing things. He didn't even rest. He didn't even go upstairs and just sleep for the night and then start signing. He started signing straight away. It's like it was all lined up and ready. But I wonder if he really had time to go through it and read through it, because some of it was freezing of funding for vulnerable people, and that meant that the medication, I mean, obviously there's a judge that's stopped it, rescinded that, but there were people that were left vulnerable, elderly, young, medication, operations, Medicare, Medicaid, for example. But now obviously that's not happening, but it is going to be challenging things. So we really don't know what the outcome is going to be. And I was just sort of reading. I'm trying to understand what's happening, because I know a lot's happening in America, and I know there's a lot of things that's been signed, and there's been a lot of criticism, for example, of the previous presidents, for example, and it's like things are just being overturned. And it can be, obviously it's sort of turning things around and upside down, and there's things that he's putting in place which is good. I'm not saying it's not, for example, but also I just hope that he does read and take it through properly, the impact that this is going to create. The immigration, there's lots of different things going on here. There's thousands of things going on here. So this is the reason why I'm doing this video, because of the discussion about the DEI, and to I just don't know what's going to happen to those people that had jobs to do with DEI, those individuals that had funding to do with DEI, and people with disabilities. There's lots of different things that this is going to impact on. People's age, you're maybe if you're over 50, for example, you may understand what I'm referring to here. You go for a job, and if you're over a certain age, you don't get the job because of your age. So this is why I want to also say to you that DEI means a lot of things. It involves a lot of people that are disadvantaged, that would have been just dismissed, and now it just seems like it's going back to dismissal. And I just don't understand why this one has been picked out in particular. I'm trying to understand. I don't usually listen to news. I really don't. But because of all of these things that's happening, you can't help but not listen, because you need to understand what is going on or why it's going on. Not that I understand it, because I'm still a bit confused as to why so many papers are being signed, orders are being done. Look, the one regarding the nurse, the Laken, just get her name, the nurse one. Just get this open here. Now, that was an act that needed to come through. The Laken-Riley Act. The 22-year-old nurse that was murdered. And that was a horrific thing to have happened. And there's also, this act has been created to hopefully safeguard this happening again to anyone else, and I believe that's a good one. Okay, but I'm not sure about the federal workers, that 2 million, I believe, are facing being terminated, and they have to show up February the 6th to discuss what they've been doing all these years. And I believe this was probably before COVID or whatever, that people were working from home for whatever reason, and they've allowed it. And just like we have remote workers, so how many of those 2 million employees of the federal workers to do with the White House and with Donald Trump team, for example, are going to be terminated instantly? Some of them might not even show up, for example, because they believe that they've been doing 2 jobs. A lot of people have been doing 2 jobs. I'm sure I've had it where I've had team members working for me, and I know that that's a fact. They've had another job because things are so expensive, for example. I just, I really just trying to understand what the outcome is, and the thing regarding the plane crash, which was horrific. It shouldn't have happened, and we still don't know why it happened. And I believe that Torval and Dean was actually on that flight as well. We still don't know what's going on there, and that's such a sad and tragic thing to happen. Same with the fires that have been happening as well. There's been a lot of storms, there's been so many things happening in the world as well. But I also look at this as this could be, like, for example, discrimination due to race. There is things that, like I said, Donald Trump doing these executive orders, he seems to be hyperactive on them, and he is freezing a lot of things. And I get that he'll freeze things because he wants to try and get order, but he's freezing things that is going to cause damage. That is a worry for me, and this is just my opinion. I'm just talking from what I've listened to. Things like freezing food stamps, Head Start, Medicare, Mediaid, Meals on Wheels. Senior aides were affected by this. School grants, financial aid. It's such a long list that there should have been some sort of like a priority thing that gets done first, not everybody thrown into one and then just sign. Because when that happened, that's why the judge had to rescind it, had to put a stop on it. But that's only holding it for a number of days, I believe 14 days. And then they come back and they could get it overturned again, for example. So I'm quite interested to see what President Trump is going to be discussing with Keir Starmer in the UK. Be quite interested to know, for example. And this is why I'm doing this video, is for those of you that aren't aware of what's happening. There's obviously, we've been distracted with AI. We've been distracted with DeepSeek, for example. That's been taking our eyes off of things. And then the President Trump comes into office. For example, DeepSeek announced on the day of his inauguration that they've created this app. Now it seems like DeepSeek are in deep trouble, for example, because the other governments are saying that maybe they've stolen data. Did they have rights to that data? Is that data protected by GDPR? Where have they got these figures from? So there's quite a few government officials, for example, wanting to hold them accountable, and they've got like 20 days to provide the evidence of what they've done, so that there's no breach of data, which, fair enough, I understand that. But it just seems that DeepSeek seem to be in deep trouble at the moment because of this, for example. And with the markets crashing, the stock market crashing, well, not crashing, totally gone, but I'm saying that the price is going down like they did, and Nvidia losing 600 billion in one day. That's a lot of money to lose, but I'm sure that he will gain it back quickly anyway. But with DeepSeek proving that they could create something for a fraction of the price, we'll have to make OpenAI, ChatGPT, Nvidia, for example, Nvidia to reduce, and Meta, for example, and the others to reduce their prices. I know that there's been Elon Musk, he's created this Grok 3, whatever it's called, and that's going to be coming on the market, and he says that that's better than DeepSeek and AI. So we'll see. There's all these things being thrown at us, and we really don't have time to deal with one thing first and let us soak that in before all these other things are coming in. And part of me is thinking that this is all distraction from what we need to be doing, which is we need to focus on our business. We need to mind our own business, and I mean that literally. We can see things in the news, etc., and there's a lot of bad things happening in the news, a lot of bad things happening in the news. But we've got to also look at our business and keep focused on your business so that you can grow your business in 2025. Otherwise, if you get soaked, if you let this grab you, it will rescind you, and then you're not going to grow because you're frightened. For example, it's like the fight or flight mode kind of thing. But what I'm saying to you all is to do what you can in your business, build a community. We are a wider community, and we need to open our eyes. It's not something that we want to avoid running our business. We have to be able to function and run our business. And if we let all of this hype with what Donald Trump is doing, left, right, and center, then that is where you could end up stagnant in your business because you're not going to move forward. But this is a time for growth. Just like these big 8-figure companies like Meta, Nvidia, like Stargate, they're still going ahead. They're not saying that they've stopped. They're still going ahead with this. And the data centers are still going to be built. England is going to be an AI superpower, according to Keir Starmer, for example. Donald Trump, he's saying that, they're going to have data banks, and Stargate is going to be huge, for example. AI is huge, everybody. AI is huge. It can do so much. And I don't have, I'm looking at the positive things that I can see with AI and what it's done in my business, for example, and what it's done in other people's businesses as well. So we have to look at what it is that we can do right now, and to look at minding our own business and focus on that growth in that business. Because if you keep listening to the news all the time, you're going to get sucked in. And there's a lot of bad things happening, but you can't control it. All you can control is what you can control. And that is looking at your business, if you're doing a business, or if you're working, or whatever, if you're getting to learn about AI, if you're worried about losing your job, for example, because that is going to help you to grow as well. So although today was about what is DEI, and I did speak about that earlier, it also is about looking at what you can do in your business to grow. And you know, we have remote workers that are all around the world, and we should never discriminate because of someone's color, their preference, their gender. You know, we should continue to support one another and not be biased, because each person has got a lot to offer, and we get to see things in a different perspective rather than just seeing tunnel vision and that's it. We don't want that. We want to be able to grow and become stronger. We are like flowers. We grow when the sun hits us, and we eat and we drink, and you know, that type of thing. So grow your business. Don't have the same people in your business. You want each person to be different, because they're going to give you something special, and they're going to turn your business into something amazing with you alongside, and AI, for example. So your business should be diverse. You shouldn't have everybody thinking the same in your business, because that means you're not growing. You're just seeing one side. You're not seeing the whole side of things. And that's how we grow our brains. We stretch our brains by doing that. And this is the reason why I'm doing this video now, is to explain that to you. You can have AI, but you can also have remote workers, virtual assistants in your business as well, around the world. We need diversity. We need to make sure that we've got the equity and the inclusion going on to make it balanced. Otherwise, why should we have everyone think the same? Because that's not challenging us as human beings. It's not challenging us to understand different mindsets, different preferences. We become too tunnel vision. And I just wanted to share that with you all, because with the signings of what Donald Trump is doing, he just seems to be on this kick every single day. Signing. It's like, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking it's like he's basically saying the previous presidents didn't mean anything, and that I'm going to wipe over everything you've done. But what is that saying to society? That it's okay to step over each other. We need to stick together. We're human beings. We've got AI that we're dealing with, and using AI is good, don't get me wrong, but now AI can think like a human, because I saw it with DeepSeek. When I asked it a question, it was thinking, and it was showing me what it was thinking and how it came to that answer. So what you do hear about some AI models, that they are reasoning and that they are thinking, So this is why us as humans, we need to collaborate with one another And my video earlier was about going out, meeting your community, not just be stuck in your office with AI. You got to get out, you know. As good as AI is, don't get me wrong, but you got to get out and get some fresh air, meet people, communicate, build a strong community, you know. And this is why it's so important that we do that. And yes, AI is good, but also build a strong community in your business, where you are, locally, because that is the key for you to grow, because you're going to learn things of what the community needs. Whether you're a healthcare business or whether you're not a healthcare business, and you've got a business, you need to know what your community is, who your community is, who you're serving. You need to connect with them. And for me, I'm connecting with you here on YouTube, and it's worldwide. This is my community. And that's what's so amazing with YouTube, is that we can connect. Same with internet and our telephones and travel, whatever. We can connect worldwide. It doesn't just keep us stuck in one location, for example. So I'm giving you some examples of the diversity that we have. I'm giving you examples of DEI, for example. And I really don't understand why these programs are suddenly being stopped, because it is for a lot of people this is going to affect. And what is the cause and effect going to be from that? I do not know. But we certainly don't want to be putting people on, how can I say, on social security, on benefits. We don't want to be putting loads of people on that, because we will end up not having any money to give, for example. So it's important that we think about this. And, you know, I have remote teams, don't get me wrong. I have got my virtual assistants, they're in the Philippines, for example. I've got teams in Cyprus, in the UK as well. And I've got teams in Jamaica as well. So, and America. So I've managed to reduce my team by 70%. That is a big savings. And that's all down to AI. And we want to be able to have different aspects and thought processes in our business, and not just stick with one, because otherwise everyone's going to think the same. Yeah, it's like we want to grow, because we will expand our minds. We will grow by listening to other people's opinions and not be so dictatorship and think it's going to be my way or the highway. We've got to listen to what people's views are. I mean, what do you think? Tell me. You're on here. You must be thinking something. What do you think about DEI? Because I'd love to hear your side of the story. I've told my side of the story. And I've been speaking for about, 36 minutes now. So what do you think about DEI? Has it helped you, or do you not agree with it? And you know what? It's okay to disagree. We all have opinions. It's okay to disagree, but it should be done in a respectful way, for example. Because you know, when you get to a certain age and you go for a job and they turn you down because you're too old, what do you think that is? Is that equal? It's not. Or you may have got turned away because they needed to hire someone else, for example, that was a certain age or with a disability. There's all different things here that I'm referring to. You know, people have gone for jobs with disabilities and they've been turned away from that job because they've had a disability, and organizations couldn't be bothered to make changes to modify in order to employ that person who had a disability. Do you get what I'm saying here? This isn't just about skin color. This is about a lot of things. This is huge. And I just want us to be really aware of every time something gets signed, what the impact is going to be. I mean, thankfully, the one that got stopped by the judge, that executive order, when President Trump was trying to freeze the food stamps, the educational start, for example, the healthcare for elderly, vulnerable people, food stamps, for example. And food stamps is not just because someone's unemployed. It could be because their wages aren't enough to help them to survive as well. And it would have affected elderly people as well. The school grants, scholarships, financial aid, all of these things. So this is the reason why I'm talking about this today in this live, is because when we see DEI, I think we just think it is for people of colour, for example. It's a lot bigger than that. It means more. So I'd like you to, listen to the video if you've just come in, for example, and really see the whole picture of what this really means and what it means to those that was receiving, for example, on that basis. So I'm quite intrigued to see what President Trump, when he comes to the UK to meet Keir Starmer, I'd be very intrigued to see what that conversation is going to be, because I believe it's going to be about, obviously, AI, probably immigration. I don't know, but we've got there's a lot of things happening since Donald Trump's come into power, for example. And obviously he was voted in, but let's look at what we can do, what we can control in our business, and don't let this stop you from moving forward with your dreams. Because the AI is going to help you in your business, and it will help you to grow and scale. And if you can't afford to employ staff members, then use AI. Use AI because it can do lots of things for you. Look, the big organizations that are billionaires, for example, they're using AI, and they're not recruiting new people, for example, new staff. So for those of you that are working for someone, you need to really look at AI and see what you can do, training wise, to get trained quickly, because we don't know in the next 5-10 years. Even solicitors are at risk at losing their jobs because of AI. Solicitors, lawyers, even the AIs, the robots, are even in the hospitals now, working alongside the doctors and things like that. So we got to really start thinking about what we can do to safeguard our future for ourselves and our families. And I would definitely be like what I've been doing is I've been using AI, and that's why I'm doing AI automation services. I'm helping businesses to implement AI into their business because it is a lot cheaper. There's inflation going on, and it makes sense to get something that's going to be quicker as well. But also, if you don't know how to operate the AI, then your job is at risk as well. So you're at risk of possibly losing your job. And I'm speaking because this is how it's looking, and from what research is saying as well. This isn't coming from me thinking this. This is me looking at the evidence, research, and using AI myself. And what it's done for me, which has been really good. It's freed up my time so that I can do things like this that I enjoy doing. I enjoy being here on YouTube, talking and discussing different subjects, because these things affect businesses. So I will talk about things that will affect businesses, and that's why if you're going into business, you need to be aware of these different aspects, AI as well as the DEI, because you're going to have multiple people apply for positions from different walks of life, and you have to make that decision to take them on, or are you going to be biased, for example. It is about the person having the qualifications and the ability to do the job. That's what I always think about when I take someone on. But also, if I am going to take on someone that needs some additional help, then I will do that. So there's no bias behavior there, for example. So I'd love to know your thoughts on this subject, on DEI. What do you think about DEI? How do you feel that maybe you've been affected by it? I don't know. But I also know that there's going to be a lot of job losses anyway due to this signing, for example. And that's why I'm saying, get to know AI, watch my videos, get to know AI, and start looking and planning for you and your future, because no one else is going to build it. You're the only one that can really secure your job, if you have a job, or your business, by implementing AI. Because in the UK, you've got national insurance going up, you've got all these other things going up. So you need to have something ready in place, like AI, so that you don't lose your business because of the savings that you're going to get. And then you'll be able to pay your national insurance increase and inflation increase, and make that saving each month as well, like I said. So just think about all of these things. I don't want you to think, what is DEI? You know, when you come to that stage in your business where you're taking someone on, to be fair and to pick the best one for the job, unless you have a special program and you make the adjustments as well. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to me today, and I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you've enjoyed today, and I would love to really hear your thoughts and processes. You know, maybe you don't feel like saying anything, but you know, I wanted to let you know what I was thinking, as well as the discussions I've been having lately. So join me tomorrow. I'm doing a free training it's going to be for about 2 hours. It will be in the afternoon as well as in the evening, because you know, I've got this thing where I've got to come on. I'm addicted to coming on YouTube twice a day minimum, because I want to grow my channel, but I also want to show you how you can grow with AI and a YouTube channel, and what other strategies you can put into place for growing your business. My YouTube revenue so far, for example, not so far, for this month, if I can find it. So yeah, so 128, for example. That's what I've earned for the month. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but it pays a bill. This is YouTube. Let me just say to you, I've only been doing this 3 months, and every month I was getting £100, for example, right? So this is 128.44 a month. So it's grown in the 3rd month. You know, if you keep posting every day, you will grow. But you also I get appointments for my business as well. I also grow my YouTube channel. I'm also doing training on here, and I'm helping other businesses to learn about AI and to implement AI into their business. And if you haven't done YouTube yet, it is a good thing to do, because you can really showcase your skills and your talents, for example, and grow your business with YouTube and AI, and going out and meeting the community. Depending on what type of business that you are, for example. But I wanted to share that with you, because today is like the last day, for example. But that is just a tiny amount. But imagine that can pay a bill, for example. So give it a go. YouTube certainly can help you to make money, and you can start practicing that now. I mean, if there's someone here that knows about DEI, you could do a YouTube channel regarding it. Diversity, equity and inclusion, for example. You know, one video once a week. You don't even have to show your face these days. You can get AI to do it. And AI can even do a person, and they're talking. They can even have your voice. How cool is that? And they can do different languages. So you can be like Mr. Beast worldwide. Because that's what Mr. Beast does, right? He does in different languages all around the world, doesn't he? So that when he talks, is actually talking in a different language. How cool is that? And that is all to do with AI and video. They call it video. Is it called generic? Anyway, you can. I'll find out what the real name is called. Generative, I believe that's the name. But I'm telling you, YouTube is definitely one place to go to do your videos, as well as AI can help you to do those videos. Then you can grow your business. Look at these different subject matters that people are interested in and focus on that, and then you create your YouTube channel based on that. So I hope that you found that helpful today, and I look forward to speaking with you all tomorrow. And I hope you'll be able to join me tomorrow, because I'm going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to do the training tomorrow for AI. So I hope that you can join me, because I want to talk about Agent Force, which is Salesforce. They have now branched off into AI as well, but Agent Force has done really well on the stock trade, so its company's gone up, and the training that I'm going to do tomorrow is going to be where I talk about Salesforce and what it can do for your organization. And when I say Salesforce, I mean Agent Force, which is the new product that he's produced, the director. So join me tomorrow, because I'm going to be talking about Agent Force tomorrow, which is owned by the owner of Salesforce, which everyone knows about, which I'm going to talk about as an AI tool and what it can do for your business. So have a wonderful evening, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow on the internet. Thank you. Take care. Bye.